let's get a quick recap of the battlefield as we're topping the round 4. We have got the odds are looking in favor of you guys. The Broodguard that is in melee with Copernicus is bloodied. It's got arrows sticking out of its back. He's talking shit. Him and Copernicus are talking shit back and forth. They got that little thing going on. Erme, you are tucked safely, so far anyway, behind Quincy, who is in melee with the Malison, who is also in melee with Zavril. So they've got their little trifecta thing going on there. And the Pure Blood and the other Malison are hunkered down behind a tree in melee with 2 spear-wielding Aarakocras. Meanwhile, okay, you've got that human that set that tower on fire. He is just coming up from the east, launching arrows into that Broodguard. He seems like he knows what these Broodguards are capable of, and he's trying to eliminate it quick. Also, further south, you've got this caster like Aarakocra wielding a staff, who, alongside a human, was busy taking care of some business down to the south, but it appears they had finished it, and now they're running up north. Alright, what are we on? The Malison. It's going to be the old random. 1, 2, 3 is Quincy. 4, 5, 6 is Zero. Quincy is getting attacked. Quincy's at 13 hit points. He'd be okay.
He'll be fine.
9, 10,
Natural.
No, that's going to be an armor class 14. Probably miss.
Armor class 14 hits.
Oh, shit. That's going to be 8 damage.
For the first attack.
Damn.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You got 2 attacks.
Wait, who gets 2 attacks?
And missing with the well, you tell me, armor class 12.
Yes, that is a miss.
Okay.
What is he attacking with? Scimitar?
Scimitar. This one, the one closest to you guys in melee is using a scimitar. The one further behind is fighting with a bow.
Quincy parries the scimitar with his rapier.
Indeed. Round 4. Top of the round is going to be Erme Finve.
Irame is going to send a Ray of Frost at the one in melee with Quincy and Zero.
All right, let's see a 2-hit roll.
Natural 20.
Oh,
that's
shit.
a
Suck on that.
Crit on the spell.
That's a miss.
So roll me a d10.
3.
3 is once again, I believe you got this one before, is the Focus Synchronization. It's max damage, and the spell, if it's not a cantrip, the spell does not consume a spell slot.
It is, so 8 damage.
Movement speed.
Reduced by 10 feet.
This guy is on his last leg. Speaking of legs, they're all frosty. His movement speed is reduced. And it brings us to the human archer. Once again, he notices the Fey Fire on the Pureblood and the other Malison. So I think he's going to take advantage of that and fire an arrow over there. Natural 20.
Rocking it.
Yeah, right.
Yep, and that Malison was completely full, apparently. Nobody had hit this one yet.
Is that the one on the tower?
Nope.
No, the one with the Fey
The
Fire.
one with the Fey Fire on it. Yep. Quincy, you're up. Now you took some damage.
I did take some damage. How does the Malison in front of me, the one that just got hit with the frostbolt, is he bloodied?
Oh, yeah. No, he's on his last leg. He looks like he's got a couple more strikes. A couple more strikes with the old rapier should do it, or one more really well-placed one.
Ooh, but I'm pretty low on health myself. I think Quincy is just feeling the energy of the battle and invigorated by the reinforcements. And foolish as it may be, he's going to thrust with his rapier. And he hits, I'm assuming, with a 21 to hit.
Yeah, that's going to be a hit.
9 points of damage.
That, my friend, is a well-placed thrust, which kills the
I can picture
Yuan-Ti
it
Malison.
sliding off of the end of my blade, slumping to the ground.
Done.
How do
that
you
your
feel
first
about
kill?
that?
It may be my first
Yeah.
kill.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time in 1919 history, Quincy Follow has taken a life.
You murderer! I like it.
Sybil comes out. Ooh, handsome, intelligent, and a murderer.
As the body hits the ground, as you could see his sword shaking slightly in his hand.
Yeah, I mean, this has to be a moment here.
Yeah, as he pulls himself back together and takes a look at the battlefield all around him, and he's going to take a 5-foot step up to next to Aramay.
To the east?
Yeah, is that other one?
Nope, that he's still alive. But yeah, as you're taking in that moment, you're still smelling burnt flesh. You're still hearing the screams of this Malison on the ground that had got blown up. He's still alive, and he's on his last leg, but he's screaming in
He doesn't
agony.
appear to be a threat, though.
Oh no, he's incapacitated by all definitions. And the other Zinti that appeared dead, you see one of them is still, he came to, and he's starting to scream in pain. This is a very agonizing moment all around.
Surrounded by death.
Yeah, death is hanging low in the air tonight in Taguda Village. And the Aarakocras, once again, they're still in battle with these guys, which brings us to, as they're trading blows, why don't we go right to Zavril?
Zavril is going to continue the attacking the Malison. Now he's going to put his attention on the one that's already lit up, though.
Yep, and that guy, that lit up one, just took some damage from Aarakocra, so let's see some attack rolls.
Okay, and they're at advantage, correct?
Yes.
Alright, so it will be, for the first one, will be a critical hit, and then armor class 21 for the second.
Shit. Give me
Roots magoots.
Now, that's still considered a melee attack, right?
Yes,
So roll a d20.
a 1.
Lucky hit, max damage, no additional effect.
Nice. So max damage for the first one, and then the second one will be 4 slashing damage.
Okay, so it took a total of 11 damage, right?
Yes.
All right. Yeah, he's feeling now. This one's bloodied, officially.
My whips are on fire tonight.
Yep, and then we're going to go to Duesh, who is launching another flame and missing once again. And he's getting frustrated. He's moving. He's taking a 5-foot. He's actually going to get right up in there.
It's like I'm going a little bit closer.
Yep, and the Pureblood is going to stab once again at one of the Aarakocra and missing. Copernicus Heart, you're up.
You're a dirty snack. Your friends die around you. Join them. Natural 20.
Oh, the 20s are just coming
What'd you hit
out
with?
tonight.
Magic slashing longsword.
All right, so why don't we do a melee? Why don't we do a melee crit? So
D10?
roll a d20.
D20. Like it.
Ooh, a little more variety in this one.
That's a 6.
6 is getting the hang of it. Times 2 damage. No additional effect.
12 damage.
12.
No, correction. 12 plus 4. 16 damage.
6.
So is it 32?
Oh. Times 2? Holy
You forgot to add your crit?
Yeah, I did.
Well, what'd you... No.
He's got 2d8 there.
but it's a 1d8 weapon.
Yeah.
Fucking
Oh,
assholes.
okay.
I thought you said times 2 and he rolled 2 die.
Yeah, I rolled 2
I
die.
didn't know that he was
It's a longsword, 64 damage.
I thought
173 damage.
I'm like, that's a fucking longsword. We're getting out of control.
I thought I've seen him roll 2 dice.
I have with
Before.
spells going.
Yeah.
All right,
So-
so what's the total damage?
16 damage.
16 damage. Is enough to kill the brood guard. Copernicus Heart slays the brood guard.
I have another trophy for you, Zavril.
It sticks in, your sword just sticks through its head, pinning it to the earth below. It like writhes in agony for a little bit and then suddenly stopping abruptly. Next up, Malison. Only one Malison left now.
What about the one in the guard tower? What's going on with him? Is it on fire? The
It's
guard
on
tower?
fire. Yeah.
Yeah, he's... Oh, you know what? I've been forgetting about him. He
Yeah, I
is...
kind of tried to remind you before.
Otherwise, this guy would have stayed on him.
Yeah, that guard is on fire.
Yeah,
He just couldn't see because of all the smoke.
Guard is
No,
on
he
fire.
actually slides down the ladder. He was... Yeah, these guys are supposed to fight. Fight it out. That's what's happening. So, boom, done. Arrow. Missing. And this one...
So the one in the tower shoots the arrow at the human that came up out of the bushes.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
misses.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that guy in the bushes, his job was to go after that. He shot a
Right.
flaming arrow in that tower, catching it on
Yep.
fire, and he was going to just keep launching arrows until that one abandoned the tower.
But he helped us.
So by now, all these Zinti, by the way, are gone. And these are all scattered fucking Zinti. Oh, I don't want to move all the trees. But anyway, yeah, you get the
we got
gist.
it.
Battlefield's starting to look empty.
Yeah.
There are more bodies now laying on the ground than surrounding us.
We're going to go straight to round 5 because these NPCs are fighting each other. Arame, what do you do while I resolve those?
Irme is going to continue to frostbolt away, she thinks.
Frostbolt once again. All right, which target?
The one not engaged with all 3 Aarakocra.
Okay. The Malison.
I never remember. I've been trying to avoid saying it. The Malison. 19.
That's a hit.
6 damage.
6 damage is enough to kill the Malison. All right, Arame, you just put the finishing touches on that guy with your frostbolt. It gives out one last gasp before finally the cold of the spell takes its last breath. Done. These guys over here are still fighting, and these guys are still fighting. So you have 2 different NPC fights going on. Quincy, is there anything you wanted to do?
So the guard is fighting with the human archer, and the Aarakocra are fighting with the True Blood. Quincy is near the burning Malicent, and there was also a burning Zinti.
There's only one. The other ones still appear to be incapacitated and not making any sound. But, yep, there's one right here on the ground, maybe, 5, 10, 15 feet away from you to the north.
Yeah. So Quincy he'll look at the burning Malicent, and he'll just take it in, just how serious and how disturbing this battle really is. But he's going to walk past him, and he's going to approach the Zinti, and he will cast Cure Wounds on the Zinti.
Quincy has a soft
Try
spot
to-
for people that eat other people, like
Try to
zombies.
smother the fires and cure his wounds. And that will be for 9 hit points. He'll
9?
recover 9.
Recovers 9 hit points. Okay.
Keep wanting to say 9. That's 9 damage.
Put him out of his misery.
All right, yeah. So he begins to feel better. He still looks extremely terrified and confused as to what's happening.
I suppose a tribe of cannibals would be good to have on our side in the jungle.
I don't expect him to return any kind of favor.
Maybe invite us over for dinner or something.
He might remember
I'm getting
you,
kinda
and,
hungry.
and if we come across him again, not eat you.
All right,
Okay,
and
that's
as that happens, the Aarakocra put the finishing blow on the pureblood, which resolves that battle to the south, and all that's left is the human archer still fighting the guy from the tower. Looks like he's winning.
Looks like who's winning?
The human archer looks like he's winning.
Right, so they're both archers, but I can imagine that being a pretty cool battle as they before they get within melee range of each other, just like fling arrows at each other while they're closing in, you know?
Yeah, and then drop their bows on the ground, draw their weapons, and now they're hacking at each other in melee.
Can Irame take a moment to try and discern through all the chaos what she does know about Aarakocra and how any relations that will occur after the battle might go?
What you know of Aarakocra, for the most part, they're pretty honorable people. They typically hate anything that, like, any kind of elemental evil is kind of like their arch enemy. But you do, typically you know them. There are some instances where maybe in the deeper ends of civilization where things are a little more scarce, where the Aarakocra species might be a little bit more territorial. But for the most part, they are generally honorable creatures.
So Irame, for the most part, feels safe
That being
now
said,
that the rest are cleared.
that being said, why don't you give me a why don't you give me an insight check?
17?
17. You do notice that these guys in particular, they're extremely aggressive, more so than you would expect from the species, from the average of the species. There's something about them that just the way they're delivering their killing blows is just a bit over the top, you know? It's like they're taking great joy in the deaths of these things.
Irame is going to call out to her friends to be careful in approaching the Aarakocra. Maybe even warn them to not approach.
So you hear...
She's going to say that she thinks that, I think that we're safe, but do not approach them hastily. With haste. Hastily. Do not approach them with haste.
I'm going to yell to the human that's to the south of the, just, on the other side of them. And say thank you.
Yeah, they're
Thank
pretty
you for
much
the help.
mopping things up, sheathing their weapons at this point. They
All right.
see their friend battling over there, and they see that he's got the upper hand. They're not even going over to help him, which was another telltale sign, like something's a little, I don't know, something's a little off. They're a lot more invigorated by battle. than
Militaristic,
you-
maybe?
Yeah, almost like maybe almost an obsession. It's almost a sport for them, and they're obsessed about it. At this point, it's safe to say that combat ends. And when the final blow is landed and there's no more fighting going on, at one point, one of the Aarakocra is actually watching them and, nodding in appreciation at a good move or something, And once the final Yuanti falls and all the Zinti scattered, you notice that the members of this group, for the majority of them, just start fanning out and going into the various huts, clearing them. They're going in, and then they're coming out quickly after. So they're not ransacking; they're just checking for any more Yuanti. And the human to the south, none of them even acknowledge you, really. I don't know where you guys are all standing, but you notice the...
Oh, I'm screwed.
Irame is going to make sure she is holding her posture in the most non-threatening way.
So the human archer that was last to be fighting, he's going in still to some huts and checking them out. The 3 Aarakocra, okay, the 2 spear guys and the 1 caster, They move by you guys, quickly glancing at you, and they move on to the lift. The other human that was coming up from the south, she actually is staring at you guys, and she walks right up. Apparently Zavril is in front. Unless you guys want to reposition yourselves for a dialogue.
Well, I was going to still wait to see what the Zinti was going to do.
Oh yeah, he's still babbling incoherently in a language that you can't really make out. It's a primitive dialect. If you have anything that could help,
I do have comprehend languages.
All right, are you gonna cast that?
I'm gonna cast it.
All right. So pretty much he is babbling incoherently about. He's asking where he is, who he is at one point. It seems as if he has no idea of his identity and where he's been in the last however many years. He's completely confused and terrified.
I'll just try to say a few calming words. I'll tell him he's in the Taguta village and that the Yuanti were here, but they are no longer a threat. And to seek safety in the jungle.
Yeah, while he's babbling incoherently, he's kind of like, now that he's feeling able to move after you healed him, he's actually kind of scuttling backwards towards the jungle.
Does he look afraid of me?
He does look afraid of you and everyone else. Going on, his eyes are darting violently
Quincy
all
must
around.
be like with the blood on your weapon for the first time and someone
he's
fearing you.
extremely terrified.
I'll just, as he runs off into the woods, I'll just say, avoid the Yuanti and change your diet, and you will live a long and healthy life.
All right, is there any position you guys want to take?
Yes. When the battle ends, Eric Hakra will walk past me onto the platform. Copernicus will take his sword and slam it into the ground and step forward next to Zavril to approach the human. As he steps forward, his sword goes up in a puff of smoke, returning back to the Shadowfell. And he says, "Well met, friend. My name is Copernicus Heart, the Black Heart."
Irme, seeing that these two are going to be our speakers, starts to quickly scuttle forward.
Quincy will follow as well. So we'll all be together.
All right. So this human female that approaches you, her hair is short and black, and it's folded over just long enough to fall into her left eye. She wears blackened leather armor with a single metal breastplate covering her chest. I already told you a long sword and a short sword hang at her side. She jerks her head to move her hair from her eye, and it falls right back into the same place. She doesn't appear to even care. She says, "We saw you emerge from this hole. Have you taken anything?" She says it in common while sternly looking over the party, waiting for a reply.
I'm going to scan her real quick to see if there's any signs for the shield, the Order of the Shield.
You actually do notice a marking from the Order of the Shield, but it's not proudly worn. It's kind of hidden, and it's actually just under almost a new patch or a new badge that looks almost roughly made.
Not mentioning the loot, Copernicus will unbuckle the scimitar he took from down below. "I grabbed this wicked blade covered with poison. I want to know more about it." And I'll throw it at her feet.
She glances down at it. She says, "It is a Yuanti weapon. It appears to be coated in poison. You can keep it."
There are 17 uses left.
There are one use left on the blade. No, she says, "You may keep it. I am more interested in trinkets of the sorts, perhaps imbued with magic."
We have taken something from one of the fallen that I intend to return to her friend.
May I see it?
I'm just gonna... Yeah, I'll display the brooch.
This is from the Order of the Shield.
It belonged to one of the people we came here to rescue.
I understand. You may keep it. There was nothing else down there of magic nature. We tracked a priestess, a Yuanti priestess, to this site. We have reason to believe she is after relics of most import.
If there was a relic, she has it now. It was not there when we arrived.
There was an open sarcophagus with some things that looked like things were removed from it.
My men will, I presume, will make the same discovery if what you say is true. I just needed to be clear if you were not carrying the artifact. But it would appear you are not. I suggest you leave as soon as you are able.
That was the plan.
What will become of this place?
That is for the Scale Division to decide. The name is Guess, by the way.
I don't like to guess.
Are you being smart with me, Elf?
Scale Division. Have any of us heard of this at all?
Nope. This is a whole new one. Whole new one of you guys.
Do you know why the Yuan-Ti seek this relic?
We do not know, but we will find out. It is our purpose. As I said, we have business here, and if you do not hold any relics of magic, then we are done. I suggest you leave when you are able. You are welcome to stay until you are ready, but I suggest you do not take too long.
The timing of your arrival was very fortunate for us. We appreciate that.
Once again, Timora smiled upon us.
We watched you approach. We thought you were fools.
We have a friend who thinks the same.
Should we rest here in one of the huts?
No.
Spend the night?
I think that's a splendid idea, actually. Copernicus will take out some bug repellent.
Yes.
Yeah,
Irame will follow suit.
Yep. You see the three Aarakocras were waiting on the lift, and Guess just kind of makes her way in between Copernicus and Zavril and stands on the lift, and they begin to go down into the hole.
Irame will whisper to her comrades that she had a distaste for this group.
The Scale Division.
Yep, and you see the other human exit another hut and go into a different one, and he appears to just be going in and out of huts and investigating.
I suggest we occupy one they've already investigated. And yes, they do seem a little rougher around the edges than even our friends here, Mr. Don Checker and Copernicus.
All right, so you guys resting before taking off? That's the plan?
Yeah, let's... well, okay.
I would say no more than a short rest. I mean, obviously, we just been through a lot, but I'm not going to go to sleep with these people down in the ruins there.
Well, I mean, while they're checking out in the ruins, we can start a short rest and see where this leads, but...
Yeah, and we could take watches, and... I mean, we've cleared out all the danger already.
Irame is going to approach the other human.
Yeah.
Can she?
Yep, you definitely can. He's just going from hut to hut, kind of. He's also, as you walk up to a hut that he's in, you see him, he's doing more than just checking for survivors. He's not ransacking or looting or anything, but he's looking intently at every little detail. He's investigating, clearly.
Basically, I shall ask, why are you here?
He kind of, while still looking around, he doesn't even turn to you to talk. He says, we are here investigating the Yuan-Ti.
Because they were looking for the relic below?
We tracked a priestess here, as Guess already explained.
Irame will say, I fear you are too late to collect the relic. Does it put a damper on your goal? And she'll roll a persuasion.
Sure, yep.
And she will use Lucky to re-roll that dice.
Okay.
Nothing.
He, once again, without looking at you, he says, anything we can do to hinder the progress of the Yuan-Ti is beneficial to all. Must trust me on this one.
Irame will push her glasses up her face and say, "What are they trying to accomplish?"
Whatever it is not good. We seem to believe through gathered intelligence that... Well, I probably shouldn't be talking to you about this. Leave me to my work, please. And he goes back to, lifting up bedrolls and examining markings and scratches on the walls. And at one point he pulls out a little vial and he takes some scrapings and he puts it in.
It's funny.
Let's take a look at that map and those scrolls we got from the Elder's hut.
Irame's not done harassing this human. She is going to say, well, it's a shame that you don't have more information on what the Yuanti are trying to accomplish. I think I may have gleaned some down in the tomb. And she's going to, because she doesn't really know for sure, she maybe roll a deception check.
A deception check? Sure, give me a check.
It's 18.
And what?
Trying to keep him interested, deceiving him into thinking she knows more about what the Yuanti are up to with the relic, based on what she knows about the myth in the statue down below.
That can't backfire.
You do seem to grab his attention. He stops what he's doing. He says, "What do you know exactly?
What
can you tell me?
know exactly?
What can you tell me of this?"
Beneath this village is a statue of a primordial, a serpent primordial, the night serpent.
Yes, Dendar.
That's not true. Well, that's all I know.
Dendar, the night serpent.
And he's standing right behind you.
Lying bitch.
It is said that Dendar will rise again, if you believe the myths.
Dendar is, as you I'm sure already know, worshipped mostly by the Yuanti, not many else. We have no reason to believe that Dendar even exists, as the Yuanti don't even really worship Dendar. It's more of a joke.
So why seek the relic that is said to free Dendar, or that might help in freeing Dendar?
I do not believe in Dendar, and as I said, I don't even believe the Yuanti believe in Dendar. They just invoke Dendar's name out of a morbid obsession to strike fear into the hearts of weak men.
Aha, so you are telling me that this relic has nothing to do with Dendar?
No, I believe... I got you. I don't believe in Dendar, and I do not believe this relic has anything to do with the Night Serpent.
So what does it have to do with?
I believe it has more to do with the undead that's been ravaging the land.
Oh, we encountered the undead on the river.
I'm sure you have. Many have lost their lives to the undead. The growing concern all across Chult. It was once our job to investigate. However, our attention has turned to the Yuanti as we believe that they are closely tied. I must get back to my work.
Irame will leave content with the information that the relic has less to do with Dendar and more to do with the undead, and she will return to her comrades to relay the information.
Yep, and the human archer moves to the other side of town, to the other huts.
If we're taking a short rest and we're out of the view of the scale division, I want to cast Identify as a ritual spell, which takes 10 minutes longer than usual, so it will take 21 minutes to cast. So you see Quincy starting to draw things in the dirt with a stick, and he places the ring in the center, and he maybe pulls some components out of his pouch and mutters a few words.
Copernicus all the while is kind of scratching his head watching you do that.
What are you identifying?
What is he up to?
I'm identifying the ring.
The ring is a ring of feather falling.
Ooh.
When you fall while wearing this ring, you descend 60 feet per round and take no damage from falling.
I'm using some hit die, spending some hit die.
I'll roll along with you.
All right.
You got 5 hit points back.
I recovered 18, but I spent all 4 of my hit die. Oh, wait.
Are we not resting? No, short rest.
We already did a short rest, so some people have already spent some hit die. Keep that in mind.
Yeah, I've spent 2 now.
I thought you spent 2 last time.
I did, so I've spent 3 now.
Yeah.
I got
shit.
one left. For the love of Timora, let's take a look at what we got out of the Elder's Hut. It's been like 4 episodes.
So, various trinkets. You had the map. And the other things, I think I just told you, the gold value of them. They're just trade-in items.
What were the scrolls?
Irame is going to make sure that none of the other parties see that she has a map that was recovered in this area.
Oh, the other group?
Yeah.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, none of them are around you.
Okay.
The scrolls are spells.
Yeah, I want to know what those are and if the map has any information for us.
I think you have to identify scrolls if you're not a wizard, right?
Mm-hmm.
Am I right on that? I think if you're not a wizard, you need to identify scrolls.
Can we Arcana check them or anything like that?
Yep. No, absolutely.
How many scrolls are there?
How many did I?
I don't recall.
You never told us.
I don't. Yeah,
You
you
just
said
said-
various scrolls in a map.
So I assume like 26.
Yeah.
Let me see.
26.
Roll 2 d20s.
Roll 1d20.
2d20s plus 19.
We'll have to roll Arcana. I do not have the materials to do any more
Well, if we
identification
all-
by magic.
If we're all taking a look at them, you know.
Mm-hmm. I've got a pretty good one as well.
All right, let me find it. Find that chapter where they were at.
Copernicus is taking a liking to this village now. Could see himself living out his, what do they call them? His golden years. In the jungle by the river here. Taguda village.
1 canoe left.
1 canoe. What else does a half-drow need?
All right, there was 3 scrolls. Give me an Arcana check on the first one.
That's a 2.
God, you're horrible.
That's a 4.
Did anyone else?
20.
Nice.
20. Quincy says, "Let me see that. Hold my beer."
It's more of a tea drinker.
It's a scroll of alarm. You recognize the mesh pattern as abjure. Actually, you didn't do detect magic.
No.
But yeah, I mean, it's an alarm scroll. I'm sure you could guess that it's abjuration.
What class is that from? Can a warlock learn like a wizard spell?
No,
I think
No.
only
no.
wizards can scribe scrolls. But I feel like we looked at scroll usage a few times before, and I think maybe even only wizards can cast from them, right?
I don't know.
Is that something?
Is anybody
I
a
think-
wizard? Are these useless to
That's
us
something
then?
we're gonna have to look.
Yeah, we'll have
They
to look
definitely
up
have
the
a gold
scrolls.
value.
It's something we're gonna have to look
Good
up.
point.
I hadn't bothered because we don't have a wizard.
So you're gonna tell us what they all are, or do we have to roll for the
Well,
other 2?
what classes can cast the alarm spell?
Well,
Maybe
I
we have to look it up after.
Yeah, let's just find out what they are now. We can look this up throughout the week.
Right.
Irame is laughing at her inability to charm and sway people like all the other people of her family can.
Yeah, I'll just say you take
Take the time.
the time to use the Arcana on all of them. There's 3 scrolls total. The second one is Darkness. The third one is Suggestion, and that's also a 2nd level spell. I mean, these are all wizard spells. I know that for sure, but I don't know who else can cast them.
Yeah, they might bleed over.
Yeah, actually, it does say right here. It says it at the bottom. So Suggestion is Bard, Sorcerer, Warlock, Wizard. What was the other one?
Darkness and alarm.
Yes, Darkness is Circle of the Land Druid, Paladin Oathbreaker, Sorcerer, Warlock, and Wizard.
Do you like the sound of that scroll? Darkness.
I like my scrolls like I like my coffee. Alarm. Alarm is Ranger and Wizard.
All right. So now to the map.
Yep, you roll out the map, and believe it or not, a lot of it is still uncharted, but there are, quick glancing, there's definitely some areas that are where the hexes are removed, so to speak. There are some scribbles here and there on it, and you notice one of them says Firefinger, one of the words, and it is in common. Very terrible handwriting. You see also scribbled Heart of Uptau, and the writing is so big that it covers 6 hexes on the map. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the label for the locations.
On this map, so it's
are they
accurate.
labels for locations, or are they just side note scribbles?
No, they're written on the map, but
Irame will
not
say
as accurate as you'd hope.
Right, but they are representing locations.
It does appear so. It does appear to
perhaps they have narrowed down an area.
Uptau, that was the name of the god.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a few other ones too. Ataz, Yaklawazi.
If Uptau, according to myth, does await the rise of Dendar, perhaps this marked area is where they've narrowed down that Dendar's tomb, or where he was
Supposedly held.
Perhaps.
Looking at the map and where it says Firefinger, what is that all about? Is that an area, like a mountain?
You can't tell what it is specifically because there's no real picture or anything. It's just the word Firefinger. But that being said, somebody in Nyanzaru might recognize it if you consult, maybe even Devitas or somebody who's been around the area. Maybe even Zimwabi might be familiar. These are all things that to you guys are like, what is this shit? But to natives of Chulter, even natives to Nyanzaru, or anybody who's been in the area for a while and out, on expeditions, might be able to help you with some of this information. So yeah, you guys take your short rest.
Going to use my hit die for 6.
Now, couple things here. You guys are, I'm assuming, ready to embark.
Yes, and we do have 2 canoes, one with our supplies, assuming that...
Well, you have one canoe here in the village, but
and
you need
2 with ours.
Yeah.
You have 2 where you guys were, yeah,
Right.
but
I
it's
assume
still
we're
a
planning
ways.
to go there.
It's still a ways.
we could
though.
go through the caverns and return back that way if we...
Yeah, all of you can't fit in one canoe, so so we need to pick a navigator because Zimwabi is no longer with you. So who's going to be the navigator for the day?
I remember how to get back.
It's going to be whoever has the highest.
Well, it's still night. Should we wait, take a long rest, and wait till morning to try to navigate ourselves back to the canoes?
I would,
It's probably about a half a day to the canoes.
I'm not walking through the jungle in the middle of the night. You guys are much braver than I am.
You do make a compelling argument.
What say you, Zavril? I see a smile on your face.
Just thinking how not so certain I want to be sleeping in this village of death. We don't know if anyone's coming back here. More the Yuante or not.
It appears to me that the Yuante have been driven from this place.
Not only have they been driven, but they have what they need here. They have no reason to return.
Well, the Zinti were building something, you recall.
Yes, the erection.
They were erecting.
Don't get me all hot now.
But the Zinti have scattered, and if they do return, it may not be tonight, nor would they be up to picking a fight.
Yeah,
perhaps.
no, I mean, the Zinti were obviously under control. It was the Yuanti who were erecting the spires. So there had to have been some level of permanency,
Right.
Just saying.
That's how I took it as well.
Well, while we're talking about that, can I just do an investigation on the spires?
Yeah.
Never mind.
Fucking skills.
I know, I was failing with
How was
all
your
my...
architectural lore?
I mean, if you guys are taking a full rest, you could probably take 20 on it. You know.
Are we taking a full? Are we all in agreement? I know Mr. Don Chaka has some reservations.
My powers are pretty drained at this point.
Well, Quincy's out there poking around the spires, and these guys are squabbling. Copernicus is already curled up in a ball, half asleep.
Irme will say, what's the expression? I don't want to be in the woods half-cocked.
Fine. I will take first watch.
All right.
And I will take 20 on the spires.
All right, and for anyone who doesn't know, taking 20 is you can take 20 minutes and assume that the die roll is a 20.
Irme is going to find a quiet place to meditate for her 4 hours, and she's going to meditate on the myths she learned, try to decipher through what the human had told her with what she had learned, and really try to fight through all the murkiness of everything to figure out what she thinks the Yuan-Ti are up to.
Yeah, Irme actually also finds herself really curious about this group as well. Just the way they were acting was very disturbing to you. Maybe not to anybody else, but you were picking up on things that you've seen before, and it usually didn't bode well. You know, when a group becomes so obsessed with a devotion, or they're almost radicalized, you know?
Yeah, she's not so certain that he was telling the truth in regards to Dendar. Or maybe not specifically not telling the truth, but maybe doesn't know a larger scale thing that's happening.
Maybe he's just being dismissive, perhaps.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, exactly. Maybe
Yeah, she's
he's got his
troubled.
eyes on the Yuan-Ti and he's not having it.
Yeah, she's troubled by...
anything they believe in, he fucking scoffs at, you know? Could be something like that. The spires, after studying them, you've read somewhere, you've seen similar structures, and it could be either teleportation magic involved or divination magic. There's definitely something. It could go either way from here. Without them being finished, it's really hard to really pinpoint what they're going to be used for, but you've seen similar structures used for divining purposes or simply just foci for large rituals.
Yes, I imagine maybe while Copernicus is sleeping, Sybil might be skulking about, floating around those pillars, checking them out for herself.
Oh yeah, Sybil is actually, you haven't seen her since the
tomb.
Since the tomb, yeah. Which, you know, it appeared she started to take interest in, but then she kind of like dismissed it, you know, as if she knew better than what was written on the wall. I don't know if you guys caught that.
I have to go back and listen.
Who's going to be the navigator?
Quincy will navigate.
All right. And what pace are you going to be traveling at?
Ooh.
Do you remember the pacing details?
Does it have to do with exhaustion?
Nope.
Oh, then no.
Real quick during that rest, since Irme only needed half of what you guys need, she collected water from the river, boiled it, and loaded up everybody's waters.
And you guys got all your insect stuff on. So the pacing, if you go to slow pace, you have a better chance of surprising encounters. But there's a chance that you don't move a hex at all because you're just going so slow and you get tied up. You roll a d4, and if it's a 1 or a 2, you don't advance a hex. If you travel at a normal pace, you travel as normal, you move 1 hex. If you travel fast pace, you get like a -5 penalty to your perception check, so there's a better chance that you get surprised, and you still roll a d4. If it's a 3 or a 4, you move an additional hex. So that's the pacing. Zimwabi always preferred to move at a normal pace, except for when you guys got on land. He chose a slow pace because, remember, he was scouting out around the area for any hostile.
I wonder if Zimwabi would slow his pace in anticipation of us trying to catch up with him. Perhaps we should not try to rush it and move at a regular pace.
Yes, I like that idea.
Mr. Don Tracker, you scoff.
Well, at the same time, he did have Elgin with him, who was in critical condition.
Yes, he needs to get back there soon.
I forgot about that detail. Once I am rested, I will be able to track Zimwabi with some accuracy. So even if we lag behind, we will not lose him.
He'll be on the river.
Yeah, the river's only going one way, I assume.
Well, that is assuming that everything goes as planned.
That the zombies have left. Let's make our way towards the boats then. Or the canoes, my bad.
So yeah, we're planning on a normal pace.
All right, you managed to make your way back to the mouth of the cave. You see Taguda Village behind you. I don't think you guys will ever forget this place anytime soon. You move through the cave easy enough with no encounters. Quincy remembering each passage when you guys went through with Zimwabi. I don't know if you remember, Quincy had taken notice as to which tunnels you were going through.
Yes, he was marking them, I believe.
It was a little different coming out because you guys had come down that hole, but it didn't take long before you managed to come out unscathed on the other side of the ridge. And after about a half a day's travel through the jungle at a normal pace, you do, in fact, manage to make your way back to the boats. You notice pretty quickly, because I'm assuming immediately you're going to check the supply box.
Yep.
When you open it, you do notice that a small portion of the supplies have been taken.
Perhaps by Zimwabi.
And you can also tell that what was taken wasn't as much for the three of them to make it back to Nyanzaru, but you're assuming that Zimwabi would be relying on his survival skills to carry them the rest of the way where the supplies end. You get the canoes back on the water and you start moving. It's not any faster going downstream than it was upstream. The river is still at a crawl. And let's see here. All right. And you travel along the river for the rest of the day. And as you're nearing nightfall, you notice a canoe on the riverbank. It's not on the undead side. It's on the left side. I knew that's what you were wondering.
It's on the live side.
All right, and where the canoe is up on the riverbank, and you wonder because Zimwabi would never leave his canoe just out in the open like this. He had mentioned it before. Passerbys on the river would be likely to take it, but you do notice there's a piece of cloth tied to a tree branch above the canoe. You recognize the cloth to be the one that Zimwabi was working on that night during the rainstorm.
Oh, shit.
Oh no, I hope Zimwabi is okay.
We'll pick it up next week.